Hello Battle Cats players, my name is Chance and welcome to my guide. Today we're taking a look at yet another special cat. Namely, this time around we're looking at Skirt Cat. This special cat can be purchased for 90 cat food after completing Grease in Empire of Cats Chapter 2. And yes, this is another sexy leg cat variant, meaning that it will pair rather interestingly with some of the torso units, be that for better or for worse. Although let's be honest, usually for worse. It is my hope that through watching this video and understanding Skirt Cat's evolutions, performance, roles, and strategies, as well as cat combos, stats, and talents, so that you can be armed with all the information you will need to make an informed decision on how far to invest into this unit, if at all, and what kind of performance and lifespan you can expect to see out of them. So without further ado, let's get started. To start out with, let's take a look at Skirt Cat's evolutionary line. Starting out, Skirt Cat's description reads, "Found a lovely fitting skirt at a boutique, likes to wear it out all the time. Advanced variation of Sexy Legs Cat." Then at level 10, it will transform into Tights Cat. Looking for some variety, stumbled across a garter belt at the dollar store. Advanced variation of Sexy Legs Cat. Then after reaching level 20 and obtaining it from the Skirt Cat Awakens level, Tights Cat will evolve into its true form of Loincloth Cat, whose description is as followed. Chose traditional undies to better show off shapely legs, and started a viral fashion trend. Rapid attacks with a chance to break barriers. As far as the Skirt Awakens level is concerned, it is broken up into two stages, namely skirting danger at a veteran level and skirting danger at an insane difficulty. Both cost 150 energy. While there is a chance to get it on the veteran difficulty of the stage, you are guaranteed it on the insane version. As far as when the level occurs, it will be the 23rd day in any month from 700 hours to 1400 hours, or 7 in the AM till 2 in the PM. Also the 24th day in any month from 1700 hours to 000 hours, or 5 o'clock in the evening to midnight. Now that you have a good grasp on Skirt Cat's evolutions and how to achieve them, let's take a look at their overall performance. Skirt Cat is one of the many cats that class changes on depending on what form they're in. In the case of Skirt Cat, whilst in their evolved and normal form, they are considered to be a combo slave and a mid-ranger more than anything else. However, once true form, they become a breaker and a mid-ranger. Combo slaves are considered to be units that are essentially useless with the exception of their cat combos, and mid-rangers are units with a range of 250 to 399. Breakers are an interesting class that we haven't really discussed in any meaningful way up until this point. But breakers are offensive units that can get through barriers or shields, which are especially important for certain starred alien enemies as well as Aku, whom you will encounter plenty of throughout the game. As far as pros to this unit, we're looking at very short cooldown, good attack range, and low cost. Quite frankly, a great pairing. Under cons, low health and attack power, and single target. And under special considerations or other traits, we have a 30% to break barriers while true formed, which is fine. On paper, this cat actually seems kind of decent, at least looking at it from a glance. But now let's watch some gameplay and talk a little bit deeper as to the strategy and actual use case for this cat. Before we get too far into the weeds here, it is worth noting the cost of this unit. During Chapter 1, it is priced at 350 cents, Chapter 2, 525 cents, and Chapter 3, 700 cents. So it's actually fairly pricey for a unit that has the potential to be spammable, but we'll talk about how inconsequential that is right away. This cat is very underwhelming as far as its raw stats are concerned, and really once leaving the early game, there's not really a reason to use this cat. Fact of the matter is, the things that are is good at, there are going to be better cats you will encounter that are just better in those areas. Interestingly enough, however, its true form can be used in stages where the special Oni restriction is in place. So there are some uses for it in certain Cats of the Cosmos stages where not only is that restriction in effect, but there's also barriers that need to be broken. However, even in those cases, there's a very strong argument to be made that having Li'l Macho Legs Cat, or even just the Breakerblast Cannon, will be more than enough to beat those stages. So whether or not you think it's worth it to bring Skirt Cat, or I suppose at this point its true formed Loincloth Cat is worth it, is, I don't know. I just think there are better alternatives personally. But this cat has talents to it. So surely Ponos, in their infinite wisdom, would make this cat's talents balance them out and compensate for their innate lack of raw stats, right? Well, we're gonna find out about that towards the end of the video. Next on the docket, we have the cat combos pertaining to Skirt Cat. Starting out with, we have a Trick of the Wind. This is a knockback effect up of the small variety. It involves Catnado and Skirt Cat and increases knockback distance by 10%. Bearing in mind that this only pertains to units that have the knockback effect, its usefulness is questionable and dubious at best. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of knockback effect ups, and while they can make stalling and cheesing stages much easier, I find in a more general gameplay sense, there are just better cat combos to use. Up next, we have Checkered Skirt. This is a research power-up of the small variety, and involves Skirt Cat and Calicia Type X, and it will allow you to summon and create units about a second faster than you would ordinarily be able to. Bear in mind that Ponos puts in place a 2-second minimum recharge time for units, so long as you're not already hitting that, this is actually incredibly useful. I'm a massive fan of research power-ups, and this is no exception. Up next, we have Immodest Modesty. This is a worker cat max-up of the small variety. It involves a Loincloth Cat and Fisherman Cat, and increases wallet size by 10%. This is garbage. I would never recommend taking a worker cat max-up. I just don't see the point. And last, and perhaps most useful of all of Skirt Cat's cat combos, we have Scantily Clad. This is a massive damage effect up of the medium variety. It involves Ferrareka, Skirt Cat, and Panties Cat, and increases the effect of massive damage by 20%. Massive damage allows you to inflict a ×3 damage multiplier to units of a specific trait, or ×4 damage if you have the corresponding fruit treasures. So needless to say, an additional 20% on top of the already insane multiplier is pretty dang impressive, and has the potential to completely trivialize some stages with the right composition of cats. Now I'm going to flash some of the more pertinent charts and graphs relating to Skirt Cat, and seeing as how there's no real trivia to cover, I'm just going to discuss some channel stuff with you all really quick. First and foremost, as always, thank you for the continued support. It definitely makes making these videos a lot easier, or at the very least less sanity crippling. Despite what your initial impressions may be, I do put a lot of thought and time into these videos, and just seeing support in general goes a long way towards making this a more sustainable endeavor for me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who shares their incredible insight, as well as continues to support me and keep me going. Definitely helps out a lot. As far as actual channel updates go, it is worth noting that my animating is catching up very quickly to the point where I'm entering into the discussions on the community section pertaining to specific cats. So if you would like your comment on a particular cat or your thoughts on a particular cat to be voiced in a video, or at the very least displayed in one, I urge you to go to the community section, scroll down until you see your cat, and then comment accordingly, as there's somewhat of a deadline approaching for those comments to get the recognition I think they deserve. Whilst I don't expect to ever be producing more than one full-length video a day, I do try and get ahead wherever possible given my current limitations and energy levels. Animating is something I'm getting better at, and I'm getting progressively quicker at as well. So my hope is that that will no longer be a bottleneck moving forward. However, I am still keen to ensure that there is at least some method of quality assurance moving forward. And obviously, if any of you catch any slip-ups in the animation, please let me know so I can correct it and re-release the video as soon as possible, as opposed to actually gaining a significant amount of interaction on that video and then being forced to obviously lose all of those precious comments. Ultimately, I do rely on you all quite a bit, and I really do appreciate the effort you've put in this channel alongside me. It does not go unnoticed. Now that you've had a chance to look at and perhaps screenshot some of the charts and graphs pertaining to Skirt Cat, let's move on to his talents. To start out with, it has access to Barrier Breaker, which upgrades the chance of breaking barriers by an additional 2% per level up to 20%. So at true form, that would be a maximum of 50% chance to break a barrier. This all for a total NP cost of 125. And then it also gets access to Warp Blocker for a cost of 75 NP. Weaken, which adds a 30% chance to weaken enemies to 50% for about 1.3 seconds, and this improves by 0.3 seconds up to 4 seconds total for a total MP cost of 215. And then you have the fairly standard defense buff and attack buff, which upgrades health and attack power by 8% per level up to 80% for a total NP cost of 125 NP each. And unfortunately for Skirt Cat, none of these are really viable. Fact of the matter is, for too much of the game, this cat will be outclassed by various other cats, has abysmal stats in relation to, quite frankly, most of the mid and end game cats, if not all of them, and the price attached to the majority of these talents just does not justify them for this unit. On the few stages that it is good to take Skirt Cat on, or their true form rather, it is also worth noting that the spammability of this unit should be enough to compensate for not having any talents. That being said, at the end of the day, do what you feel is best. Just bear in mind that it is not recommended to really sink more into this unit than you absolutely need to. There are just better units at better price points that will get you further into the game more consistently. And that about wraps it up for Skirt Cat. It is rather unfortunate how Ponos has treated this unit, but I doubt they will ever get any better, seeing as how they already have their talents. That being said, perhaps I'm wrong. Feel free to let me know what you think of Skirt Cat down beneath in the comment section, as well as be sure to point out if I got anything wrong, misrepresented anything, or can do a better job in the future of explaining things. That being said, thank you all for watching until this point. I certainly appreciate it. In addition to that, don't forget to like and subscribe for Cat God's blessing on your next gotcha roll, and until next time, I'll talk to you soon.